Hey, look at us. We are all here, minus a foo, one foo shy of the full Cammy crew. Thank you guys for joining us on a Tuesday night. We are back at it this week. We had to take a hiatus last week. O'Shaughnessy was at the lake. Samson and Foo, did they ever get their One Piece talk happening?
Nah, Fu was busy.
Foo got busy. Foo's wrapping up a bunch of life stuff, so good for him. He is with us in spirit. He'll probably jump in the chat or respond to the Spotify poll. So thank you guys for tuning in. I am O'Shaughnessy with you tonight with Samson Just Ramblin'. We got 2 weeks worth of news to catch you up on in the world of multimedia, nerdom, Hollywood. Well, not a lot going on in Hollywood right now. Just, the same old strike that just keeps continuing to happen. But still a lot of things going on behind the scenes. A lot of the repercussions, the reverberations of said actors and writers strike. So let's get into it. Samson's going to be our news guy tonight. He's going to hit us with the platinum tier transitions and
you already know.
segues. All right, Samson, cue it up and let's pour one out for Jimmy Buffett and lead singer of Smash Mouth.
Oh yeah, rest in peace. It was a tough 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm wearing my Margarita in Paradise shirt right now. This is what I would wear if I was in Key West.
All right, we'll start with something that doesn't matter. Because no one actually noticed. And no offense to Justin Roiland, but no one noticed that he wasn't on Solar Opposites anymore. So he was like removed from an episode. One of the characters that he voices. No one noticed. So.
What do you mean no one noticed? Like the audience didn't notice?
Yeah, the audience didn't notice. No one even realized that he.
So they replaced him with a voice actor who sounded exactly the same.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, they found someone else to voice that character. So no one really noticed that he wasn't there. Not like nothing against him, but like it happened.
I mean, I don't know. I think the allegations against him came back that he was innocent, but I think enough came out during the cancellation of him to prove that he was just kind of like a piece of shit.
Yeah, that's all you need in Hollywood to get completely ousted from whatever position you have. So
yeah, like if you get accused of something, and even if you're innocent of that, but then other stuff comes up that like you're not, you know what I mean? Like you just don't look like somebody that you want to be affiliated with. I think that's what happened with him.
Yeah, it's all about your marketability. Like it's not about guilty or innocent. It's like, okay, can we sell this person? Can we still get them and not completely tank our project as a result?
Right. Can't do that.
Okay. Well, also speaking of what you can't do, let's talk about Sony.
Zing.
Sony, you can't tweet about Venom's 19-inch. Sony. This is a side note. Sony tweeted something like, It was they made a 19-inch figure of Venom, right?
Oh,
but when they tweeted it, they were like, "It's like, can you handle these 19 inches or something like that?" So, of course.
Figurine, I believe.
Yeah, it was a figurine, right? But everyone ran with it, so it was a bunch of jokes. But I say that because Sony is acquiring Audis. Is that how you pronounce
it?
Audis nuts is what they were saying. Odyssey, I assume, is a audio technology brand, right? From what's been shared. So
I've never even heard of them, so
I have not either.
It's kind of wild. Sony already makes really top tier headphones. I mean, these are my best favorite headphones. They have been for 4 years. Sony's.
Yeah, I wear Beats or Apple, so.
I was about to say you wear Apple headphones.
Yeah, I don't know. Not these in my normal everyday But yeah, let's move on. I don't care about Sony. No offense to Sony. There is.
Speaking of these nuts.
We have some D23 news. I tried. It didn't work. So Disney unveils their full 2023 schedule for D23 with panels, dates, and event listings. But again, and I could share the schedule, but like, do we care? If I'm being honest.
I mean, this goes back to the strike thing. Like, what are you actually able to talk about? That like, didn't they? I know this is coming up in the news segment, but it's like a perfect segue, so I'll steal it from you. But like, they just pushed back a bunch of shit. A bunch of shit got rearranged. So it's like, what are you gonna come in and talk about? Like, trying to hype up when everybody's like, "You sure about that?" Like,
all they can really do is like come out with like a slideshow that has a bunch of like concept art for whatever projects are coming along, and maybe some trailers and whatnot. But the joy of D23 is like when the actual actors participate. Like when they have like Loki come out in full regalia and do his whole like "you were born to kneel" speech, and Jack Sparrow when they announced the fourth or fifth Pirates of the Caribbean. And like since actors can't do that, D23 is going to be like completely deflated compared to what has been in the past.
Yeah, looking at this like event list, it looks completely deflated, right? It's like 100 years of classic characters.
I think that's what they're leaning
Disney
into.
Cruise Line
is that it's Disney's 100-year anniversary, so they're just doing like they're using this D23 as like a celebration of Disney, which is pretty nicely timed for them, to be honest.
Yeah,
like they get a pass.
Easy way to pivot.
Yeah.
But they're not going to have many eyes on it because at the end of the day, like Disney is still seen as like the big evil empire in this whole, writers and actors strike debacle. So it's like no matter what they put out there, like, oh, hey, look forward to this or look back at this. People are going to be like, how about you just pay the people who make all this shit?
100 years of taking advantage of your writers and actors and like, you want to be a star, don't you? Like, I mean, it's kind of ironic timing considering what's going on, right outside the gates of, MGM Studios, Hollywood, all that. They're over here celebrating. They're like patting themselves on the back, stroking their own egos.
Meanwhile, they're cutting down trees so the strikers don't have shade.
Yeah.
On some Mr. Burns shit.
Also, and so while all this is happening, like the VFX workers at Disney are voting to unionize, right?
Yeah. Is there anything else on that? Have we gotten an update on that?
Yeah, that's the. I think the vote went through, right? Over 80% of the in-house workers voted to unionize. But when you vote to unionize, other things that have to happen. Like it's a whole process.
Right.
But that gets the ball rolling for them, right? So Disney has to deal with that. There's also the I'm like going through other stories. Like there were studios advertising. Yeah, I'm just getting it all out the way. There's studios advertising $1 million AI jobs while writers are like not being paid, right? So all this. Oh, and in addition to all that, there's also like Disney film updates or spinoff show updates, like for the Shang-Chi spinoff, his sister show, right? It was in development pre-strike, but we won't hear anything about that in D23 because they can't go into detail because there's nothing to share because we're in strike mode.
If I had to guess, they could promote like maybe the Marvels. Maybe they might have something for Deadpool. But then again, it's like without the actors, it's worthless.
Yeah, it's worthless. So I guess good luck to them. I don't know. Maybe like parents, right? Families will be excited for this 100-year stuff that they're doing, but I doubt anyone else would be.
I think it's an internal thing, it's an ego stroking thing, and it's a way to distract the shareholders. And
you have to do something. You can't just cancel D23. It looks worse. Yeah. So kudos to them for being creative, I guess. But yeah, you should probably pay the actors and writers. All right, moving on.
It's all gonna
some
get
more
outsourced.
delay news. I hope it doesn't get outsourced. But more delay news. If you didn't know, Dune 2 has been delayed to March 14th of 2024, which is good for Marvels because they didn't have any IMAX screens before that because Dune was taking up all of the IMAX screens. But this is another strike-related pushback, right? So they had to push the movie back because of the actors and writers strike.
Why? I mean, do we know why exactly? Because the movie had to have been done filming, right?
I would assume it's they can't market it well. right? Dune is already like a fringe title, right, with a cult following. You have your big stars, Zendaya, Timothy Chalamet, and Tista, isn't it? I think too, right? But none of them can come
Butler out. And Jason Momoa are also in it.
Yeah, right. But none of them can come out and like support the film and drum up viewership with like interviews and all the things that would normally happen when you have a film of this magnitude coming out. Right. So maybe they don't want to rely on just the trailer, right? That's probably not enough. So
yeah.
But what won't be getting pushed back, unfortunately, is Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom.
Amber Turd, the Kingdom of Turd.
So,
doesn't that come out in like 3 months and we haven't seen a single trailer?
It comes out in December. Yes.
So we haven't even seen a teaser.
Yeah, 3 months from now. Yep, 3 months from now. No. Yes, exactly 3 months.
They're just gonna like shadow drop it. It's just gonna be like on HBO Max one day. Like it'll just be there, and then you'll be like, "What?"
No, they have to put it in theaters. It costs too much. I think they can't afford to just put it on HBO Max or put it on Max.
I mean, after all those rewrites, I'm pretty sure it's gonna cost them like somewhere close to probably Black Adam, because that's been in development for a while. It got delayed several times, several rewrites. They definitely have to put it in theaters, but it's not gonna make as much money as they want, like most WB properties, unfortunately, but in the DC universe.
I feel like even if this movie gets decent word of mouth carry, like I can't imagine the movie being so good that I feel like I would have to go to see it. Like if people were like, "This is the best DC movie ever made," I'd be like, "Cool, wait for it to stream." Like I just have no interest in like this is built so on the lore of a character that I just wasn't really interested in to begin with. Like he was fine. It was like more of like I was more interested in like, oh shit, they cast Jason Momoa as Aquaman. Anyway, like you know what I mean? Like that was my whole, and I feel like that's a lot of people's opinion about this. It's just like it was like a lukewarm, like.
Interestingly, the first one made like $1 billion.
Really?
Like, yeah, the first one made $1 billion. I think because of China, and it appealed to a lot of what China enjoys from film, which is like spectacle and loud, bombastic. Like that's pretty much what the Transformers franchise backed on. Where like they just put a bunch of CGI on screen. It was loud, it was pretty, and that sold a lot in China. So that's what really drove Aquaman. But chances are, I don't even know if they're going to launch in China this year. Plus, a lot of people have no faith in the DC universe at this point because of the failed films that came before them, as well as the fact that like everyone knows that the DC universe, as we know it, is done. Right. It's like everything after Flash is pretty much bullshit, and then it's going to be the James Gunn thing.
And I don't do that to Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle's good.
Yeah, but Blue Beetle kind of got caught up in that whole like loss of goodwill and lack of faith.
And a hurricane.
That was such a bullshit excuse.
Yeah, but it was true.
Hurricane hit the box office apparently.
The majority of their fan base was caught up in a hurricane, right? The people they were marketing this film to were all caught up in a hurricane.
So all the Mexicans were caught up in a hurricane.
I mean, yeah. All of them. Everyone's in the house like, yo, we want to see it, but
the hurricane only hit like one place.
I thought it was. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, Mexico.
All right. Well, this is no segue. I'm just gonna move on.
No segue.
Just moving on. We got our first poster for Wes Anderson's The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. Starring Benedict Cumberbatch, one of my favorite actors, and that's coming out this month, September 27th, and it's going to be on Netflix. Very, very excited for that. I love Wes Anderson movies, and like I said, Benedict Cumberbatch is my favorite actor, one of my favorite actors. So I think it'll be good. And Netflix has been batting like they've been doing well with their original releases. They Clone Tyrone is fantastic. I gotta watch it.
That was great.
Speaking of Netflix. The co-CEO of Netflix apparently he released, I don't know who he said it to, but he said he was concerned that if they give a fair deal to writers and actors in the US, that they'll have to do the same in other territories. like so it'll set a precedent. And like, why would you let anyone hear this? Right? And I guess allegedly said this, right? Maybe he didn't, but it's a very funny like story to me.
That's all it comes down to with any one of these deals. They don't want to establish a deal because they know that they'll have to treat people fairly.
Right. It reminds me of like a what's that show? Remember that show with Taj Morin? What's his name? Smart Guy, right?
Okay, yeah.
All right, so the guy from Jason Weaver, right? He's in Smart Guy. He played the older brother, but Jason Weaver is also the voice of Simba in the like kid baby Simba in the original Lion King movie.
Yeah.
Right. So I remember he was like he sang the song, right? And when it came time to pay him, his mom was smart enough to be like, no, give him royalties, right? Give us like $100,000 and then give me royalties for the rest of the time. And then Disney was trying to throw a bunch of money at him, and they said no, just give me the $100K and then, or whatever the regular amount was, and then give me the royalties. So begrudgingly they did it, and to this day they are still paying this man every time that song's played, every time they re-release the movie, right? Which they do every couple of years, right? For the anniversary. When they made the new Lion King, right? He got paid, right? For the songs that he sang because they're in the new one, right? Nobody wants to pay you what you're worth or like give you that long down the line money. And that's why all this stuff takes a while because studios don't want to do that. And if
I wonder how, I wonder how this is going to
do it everywhere.
Yeah, I wonder how this is going to reshape. Because, I mean, there's going to be a deal eventually. Like, Hollywood can't hold out forever and deny the actors and writers and probably eventually the VFX workers. But how much is this going to reshape Hollywood? How much is it going to reshape streaming as we know it? Because it's like, if people start getting paid out royalties that they used to during, like, the sitcom days, where it's like when shows went in the syndication and whatnot, but for streaming, like, I feel like it's gonna like fundamentally alter everything we are used to at this time. Like maybe streaming services are gonna have to like cut back on properties because they can't afford to pay out all these royalties. A lot of the shows are gonna start getting deleted because like kind of like we've been seeing lately because they don't want to pay royalties to certain actors every time someone watches, Stranger Things or anything along those lines. Breaking Bad, like mentioned with like Aaron Paul situation that you're gonna bring up, but. Like, I think this is going to be a big shift, and that's what the AMPTP is afraid of.
Yeah, maybe. But let's say, to like play devil's advocate, imagine if they did, right, make the switch, but then they made it solely based on how often your show is streamed. So, like, let's say if you're on Friends, I don't know if people still watch Friends. I never watch Friends, but like, it's pretty popular, right? I assume. Yeah. So if everyone's watching Friends, of course, Jennifer Aniston is just going to keep getting paid, right? But then you go to the other side, and we got we got the Wayans brothers, right? I love Wayans brothers, but not everyone else loves Wayans brothers. So if no one else is watching Wayans brothers, they're not getting like any real money off syndication. If you do that for like current shows, right? So you got the Bear, of course, they're getting paid because everyone loves the Bear and everyone want to keep streaming the Bear. But then you got some other new show that none of us know because none of us cares enough to watch it. Grownish, right? No one's getting paid off Grownish. No one's watching Grownish. So I don't know. It seems like a weird, I feel like it could be like a weird give and take or like a tough calculation. But we'll see. See what happens.
Yeah, we will.
But I'll move on to Talk to Me, A24's newest horror film. Apparently it grossed $50 million as of last week, and I think that was in its opening weekend. And the budget was only $4.5 million. So
good shit.
Kudos to A24. They make fantastic films. Everything Everywhere All at Once, A24, one of my favorite movies. They just they don't miss. Well, they're about to miss, but they haven't missed yet.
What do you mean they're about to miss?
There's this thing coming out. I forgot what it's called. It's like a musical. I think Meg Thee Stallion's in it. And nothing against Meg Thee Stallion, but like the movie just looks bad. I forgot what it's called. It was an A24 film.
Oscar push.
Hold on. Your mic fucked up.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's H24, so like you never know. It might get Meg Thee Stallion Oscar push.
Try unplugging and plugging back in. I think we got some technical issues there. You sound like it's not cutting in and out.
Yeah,
you just sound.
We're good.
Yeah, you're good. And it's called Dix the Musical. So it's like their first musical. I saw the trailer and like it just it doesn't look good to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't look good to most of the film people that I asked. So I don't know, man.
Did you ever watch the Marcel the Shell with shoes on? That was one of theirs that was a little off the wall, and I actually watched it on an airplane, and I was like, it wasn't bad. It wasn't terrible. It was a weird, like, very indie feeling movie, but Marcel the Shell with Shoes On was like a YouTube thing that came out like 10, 15 years ago, and they made a movie about it, basically spoofing off of the popularity of the YouTube series. And it was an A24 thing that I was like, that was like right after they had done like Heritage and Midsommar. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Because it's not a scary movie. It's like this little indie cute thing. But it wasn't terrible. And that Talk to Me thing I expected to be fully garbage just based on what I saw. But
people loved it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's one
I
of those
could be
like
wrong.
Zoomer horror movies.
Yeah.
Like
fun fact. A24 is one of the few production companies that are allowed to still use their actors to promote and still like because they already made a deal with whatever the SAG wants. So with whatever the Screen Actors Guild and the Screenwriters Guild, they said, okay, whatever deal you come with, we're gonna abide by it. We're gonna honor it. So don't worry about us. So now they can use their actors the way they should.
A24 is like the rare independent studio that has money and can do what they want.
Yeah, but it's like if a smaller studio like A24 can do that, why can't the bigger conglomerates and corporations
do that? A24's CEO is probably not making $60 million a year or whatever the fuck. Like,
like $600 million a year.
Whatever. He's not making more than $500 million a year, but
he's making as much as a supervillain would demand to not blow up the fucking planet.
For sure. And that's the problem.
Austin Powers when he was asking for $1 million.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think that's the problem at the end of the day is that doing any of these things are going to cut into the bottom line of the lizard people that run everything. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, it seems like common sense that you would just pay the people more if it streams more, but not if that has to come from somewhere because they've done the market analysis. They know that they can't charge more than blah, blah, blah amount per month. Otherwise people won't do it. So the only other alternative is to, shift where the money goes once it comes in.
Did you see the percentage that like the writers and actors were asking for? Like what percentage would come out of each of their budgets? It was like 0.00001% of Disney's annual gross or some shit like that. And Disney's still like, no.
It was ridiculous. I saw that number. I was like, this can't be true. But yeah.
Wild.
I'll move on to. I don't have a segue for this. It's pretty sad, and we forgot to mention it. Bob Barker, he passed away last week.
Man, it was a rough last week, huh?
Yeah, I forgot about that. Because I remember watching. You remember he was in him and Adam Sandler reenacted their like Happy Gilmore like fight scene.
Yeah.
And so I watched that after he passed. Man, it's really sad. So rest in peace.
He had a good life, man.
Bob Barker.
What is he, 99?
Yeah, passed at 99.
Yeah, that's a life you honor. Like, good for him.
Yep.
Yeah. It's hard to move on. Some rumors, some Disney stuff. I think I've referenced it, but I didn't like actually say it. The Jeff Loveness and Michael Waldron. It's rumored that they were laid off. And those writers of Quantumanium and Multiverse of Madness. And they were supposed to be the writers for Kang Dynasty and Secret War. So I assume if they were laid off, it's because of the response that those films got. Right? They wanted a better response.
God.
Yeah. That's good. I hate when people lose their jobs, but It is what it
do
is.
Do a bad job.
Good film.
You lose your job.
Yeah, I think it's kind of crazy they have not. I guess they won't address the issues with this past phase. I mean, especially now with everything going on, now would not be the time to be like, hey, sorry, our movies have kind of been all over the place. Here's what went wrong. But it's like, it's kind of like the awkward elephant in the room. It's like they just keep putting movies out, and people are like, especially after Secret Invasion, it's like, I feel like Kevin Feige needs to come out and be like, we're righting the ship. You know what I mean? Like, just say, like, we're changing. Like, you don't even have to address that it's been kind of, like, rocky up to this point. But just say, like, moving forward, we've learned mistakes from our past, and this is what we're doing to make these next things better. Because it's like, me, as somebody who enjoyed the Thanos, you know, Infinity Gauntlet saga so much, and now I'm just kind of, like, lukewarm to tepid on, like, everything. If they were to come out and acknowledge that they did some things that they maybe in hindsight wouldn't have done, that would give me a lot more faith moving forward that I might enjoy and go see some things. Like right now,
that's our main story, Sean. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about why you feel the way you feel.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to hold on to that one. I have no segue. So I forgot to also mention Arlene Sorkin. I keep forgetting things. Arlene Sorkin also passed. And if you don't know, she's the voice of Harley Quinn. But she's also the reason that Harley Quinn exists, right? Because I forgot, it was like a Batman film, and then Arlene Sorkin played like a jester in the film, and they loved it so much that they created Harley Quinn based off of her character.
Damn.
And then she voiced that character, right? She passed at 67, so she sorely missed.
Mr. J.
Yeah. Very sad.
Yeah, she was the voice before Tara Strong, right?
Yeah. The original voice of Harley Quinn.
Gotcha.
And the original actress for Harley Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
Some Marvel's news. Runtime is about hour 47, which doesn't bode well, if we're being honest. But we'll see. Also, some more some movies news. Bottoms. If you don't know, Bottoms is like a teen comedy about, I think, some teenagers going through like how do I describe it? Trying to discover their sexuality, I guess. But what's his name? Marshawn Lynch is in it, and I was really trying to watch it, but it's on like a short indie run, right? So it made like $500K in its opening weekend, but it's not in a bunch of theaters, right? I think in our area you have to go in DC into one specific theater to watch it. So it's not everywhere.
Limited release.
Yeah,
Did you hear the reason why Marshawn Lynch starred in that film?
Nah.
Because apparently when his sister came out of the closet, he felt like he mishandled it. So this was his attempt to sort of right the wrongs of his past, and it's pretty admirable.
Yeah, it's good. Admirable. And fair to him, the movie is like getting rave reviews. I think it has like 9.5 out of 10 stars, something like that. And it looks really good. Ayo, I forgot her last name, but she's from The Bear. She voiced April in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. She's in it. I don't know anyone else in it besides her and Marshawn Lynch, but because of them, I just wanted to go see it. So,
it reminded me of like a modern day Superbad, where it's just like they were. I don't know. This seems like it's definitely going to be pushing the envelope based on the.
We need more movies like that.
Yeah, we do. I just want more good movies. So, and speaking of good movies, we got to look at the first trailer for James Samuel's The Book of Clarence, starring Lakeith Stanfield and a bunch of other people. I'm not gonna go through all the names. Alfre Woodard, I will name her though. And Benedict Cumberbatch, I will name him. And if you don't know, James is he directed The Harder They Fall, which is on Netflix. It's pretty good. And then he's also an artist, right? And his group is called The Bullets. So I love his music, so I watch his movies. Harley Fall is pretty good, so I'm looking forward to this. It comes out January 12th. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Hopefully they can promote it, and their studio is like A24. Just a fun fact. I don't know if it matters or not. Christopher Nolan apparently shot Oppenheimer in 55 days, and then cutting 30 filming days to reallocate budget to production design and set locations. So then they were able to rebuild Los Alamos from scratch in New Mexico because of that. And every time I hear stories about how Christopher Nolan makes movies, I really appreciate it because I really feel like he really cares about the art, quality of the art.
Yeah, he always has a vision.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Speaking of visions, I don't know. Five Nights at Freddy's. The trailer came out last week as well. The movie will be on Peacock on October 27th. And sorry, it's the second trailer, the second official trailer. So that's cool. There's also a trailer for Office Race, which I'm not sure what it is, but I'll watch it. It looks like it's going to be on Comedy Central. What else? There's a lot of news about stuff we're going to talk about later. Giancarlo Esposito apparently was talking to James Gunn about the possibility of starring a DC film, and this is not like hearsay or allegedly. Giancarlo said this. I think he was doing he was at some event where he was on stage, and he said that he talked to James Gunn about appearing in a DC film.
Yeah, but didn't Gal Gadot do that same thing?
No.
Yes. This feels like we're talking about something we just talked about.
But to be fair, Gal Gadot said, yeah, Wonder Woman's coming back. And then we're like, nah, no, it's not. If Giancarlo said, I talked to James about the possibility of being in the movie, that's fine. I don't doubt that he did, in fact, have that conversation. So,
I don't know.
Why wouldn't they want him in a film? Giancarlo is fantastic.
I'm sure they do.
He is a fantastic actor, and if he isn't in DCU, I just want him to be a hero. I'm tired of him being a villain. Not because he's bad at it. He's clearly phenomenal. It's just he has a lot more range, and I feel like we should give him an opportunity to be the good guy for once, and not just the stone-faced,
stoic good
intellectual
guy.
Evil.
Professor Xavier. He'd be a pretty cool Professor Xavier.
He can be like Martian Manhunter in terms of the voice.
Yeah. I've never actually seen him be a good guy in anything, for being honest.
Yeah, right?
He's always a villain.
Well, it's like, what's his name? We're talking about the bear. I was talking about a typecast earlier. What's the dude's name in the bear that killed himself, that the show is all about, the brother? He's the guy that plays
Punisher.
Yeah, the guy that plays the Punisher. He was also in The Walking Dead. He always plays that same, he's a kind of unhinged tough guy. John Bernthal, yeah.
Who was also a villain in that HBO movie about the conspiracy in Baltimore with police. He's one of the main.
That was by the dude that did The Wire. Yeah.
It's really good.
I didn't watch that. That's on my watch list.
But he's a villain in it. So.
But does he play a kind of unhinged person that goes off the handle?
Yes.
There's one setting.
And it's that's okay though. I feel like sometimes that's okay. If you lock into that and you're really good at it, he loses himself in his role. I don't confuse the John Bernthal and the Bear with the Punisher or the one from The Walking Dead. They're all their own character, but he does that very well. And same with Giancarlo Esposito. I mean, it's not like he's always going to be Gus from Breaking Bad. I feel like he could wear other masks, but play to your strengths.
I feel like
he has. I feel like his masks is just all villains.
I feel like all of his characters are some variation of Gus. Very stoic, very intellectual, cold, calculating. It's always that.
Oh, nah. You got to go back. Go back to his Spike Lee days. If you.
I remember that.
Yeah, go back.
Definitely. It's ever since he was Gus, he's been nothing but Gus ever since then.
Okay.
Gustavo Fring. Oh man, I need to go watch Breaking Bad again.
You watch it again. Speaking of watching it again,
hey,
Arcane season 2.
Oh,
hey.
It's coming out.
There we go.
It's
hot case.
Scheduled for 2024, but end of 2024. It says Q4, so that's October.
So basically, once they've trained the AI to do the voices for
exactly
the first season, once that's good enough, then we'll get season 2.
Yes.
Oh man, I hope that doesn't get pushed back.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah, that show was a masterpiece.
If Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse taught me anything, it's that those studios that lock in that animation can like really lock it in, and it's not necessarily just a one-hit wonder. So I have like, you know what I mean? Like when we saw the Arcane season 1 or when we saw the first Spider-Man movie, I was just kind of like, damn, can they ever do that again? And then Across the Spider-Verse happened. I'm like, yo, they can't. I just would love to see Arcane like again. Yeah.
But yeah, but it to be fair, it might get pushed back, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
And this is a segue into another report.
Actually, isn't it being produced by a company overseas that may not be affected by SAG?
Yeah, but how's that affect the voice actors, right? And I was going to say that
Haley Steinfeld is.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, they have American voice actors.
American voice actors, and also I think SAG is preparing to strike against like the gaming industry for their voice actors. So there's
we ain't gonna have nothing.
Yeah, it's just nothing, right?
Hey, maybe we'll finally get Zelda games without dialogue again. That's just what I fucking wanted. Save us, Link. I'm like, oh no, what have you done? No, they didn't need to voice act this. Yeah, I mean, some of the voice acting work in games like Naughty Dog games or the Spider-Man game, that's gonna be a
Crash
huge
Bandicoot.
Nintendo, I think, is fine unless they're really trying to go out and pull Chris Pratt to be in the next Mario game. Like the Nintendo show.
Nah, Mario doesn't speak. He just like that's all it is. That's AI. So Square Enix, they've announced their like TGS Tokyo Game Show schedule, and it's September 21st through 24th. Some notable games are Final Fantasy 7 Android game. Was this 14 and 16? Why are there so many Final Fantasies?
Well, I mean,
it's been holding up Square Enix for the last 25 years.
Yeah, it's the only thing they got.
But also, the real game that matters though is Power Wash Simulator.
I'm saying, bro. Squeegee Boys.
That will be at the Tokyo Game Show.
So, you know why it's called Final Fantasy? Like, quick aside. You know why it's titled that? Because Square Enix was about to go broke, and it was their last game that they could make. Like, they were about to go out of business. They had made a bunch of RPGs that did not. Yeah, and exactly. They named it the Final Fantasy. And it was like them being like, this is our swan song. And then everybody was like, yo, do it again. And so, yeah, that's why it's called Final Fantasy.
16 games later.
Yeah. It should be named it after a certain point. But yeah.
Speaking of a rename, Godzilla -1, the first trailer has been released. And that's Toho's Godzilla film. Toho's like the Japanese company. So looks like it's a completely Japanese film. I'm not gonna lie, it looks kind of good to me. I'll be honest with you.
I need to watch the trailer on this one.
Watch that trailer. It looks good. More, I could talk about like I'm not gonna talk about the pushbacks for Disney. We already talked about all that, but I will talk about Agatha. So Agatha is still coming out, I think, generally at the same time it's supposed to come out. But apparently the name switches were like part of the marketing trick. Is like Agatha up to her old schemes again. So she's changing the name of her own show, and that's why we see like Agatha, House of Harkness, Coven of Chaos, and Darkhold Diaries. Right, anytime you see a name change, it's just Agatha messing with her thing. So that's cool. That's fun.
It's an interesting choice given the climate where movies and shows are plagued by rewrites and changes and
that too. Read the room.
Wait, can I go back real quick? I just watched the trailer for Godzilla -1. Just really quick.
Wait, you don't like it?
Do you know why it's called -1?
Oh no, why is it called -1?
So apparently it takes place after the war, like like I'm assuming they're referring to World War II, and they just had nothing. And so instead of Japan being at 0, Godzilla comes in and just fucking decimates them after the 2 bombs drop. Wow. And so it's minus. They're not at 0. They're at -1. Yo,
that's crazy. That's genius.
That is the most Japanese. Yeah, that is. That is the most Japanese title or reasoning for a title that I've ever heard in my life. Going from 0 to -1. Wow.
It makes me want to watch it more.
That movie it seems like it's going to be a really bleak movie. If that's the premise that they're going for, like post-war Japan, like nukes have just been dropped, and then all of a sudden a goddamn dinosaur shows up and just starts like annihilating what's left of your country. Like, Jesus.
The nuke makes you stronger. Doesn't he absorb radiation?
Yeah, you're.
Yeah, he does. You're breaking up again, but
you're breaking up again.
I think in a separate Godzilla movie they talk about that too. Like he was drawn to the radiation. He was absorbing everything. That's why it keeps coming out.
He got woken up by them dropping the bombs in the ocean or whatever.
Bikini Atoll.
I think it's like always the key element is like radiation.
Right.
That brings him out.
Right. All right. Anyway, I'm sorry. I had to watch that, and I was like, dude, what is so?
Yeah, that is cool. And so just rambling, touch on this a little bit. Aaron Paul doesn't make anything from Breaking Bad. From Netflix, right? It's streaming on Netflix. This is where most people watch it. He doesn't make any money from it. That is insane. So just more reason why these people should be paid. But speaking of getting paid, the three highest grossing films of the year: Barbie, Mario, then Oppenheimer. They're not sequels. It's just a fun fact, right? And I think that ties into our conversation later. Kind of. Maybe not. I don't know. But Barbie does release on digital today, right? It releases on digital today.
Wait, Barbie does?
Yes, it does in fact release on digital.
Oh, but you got to pay for it. It's not on streaming things.
Not like streaming. I didn't check it. I didn't check Max. I would imagine they're going to milk it.
Yeah, they're going to. Yeah, it's still making tons of cash.
Yeah, and they're going to milk it because they will take a $300 million to $500 million hit in 2023 earnings because of the writers and actors strike. So they got.
Didn't even know that was a segue. You didn't even know that was a segue.
I know. I did it well, didn't I?
Maybe if they paid the people, they wouldn't have these problems.
Exactly. Last little bit of news, and we can get into our main story topic. The first thing is the trailer for Chicken Run 2 has been released. It'll be on Netflix December 15th. If you've never seen the first Chicken Run, it's actually really good. I really love Chicken Run.
Yeah.
So watch that. And then apparently AMC Theaters is like trying to pilot a phone-friendly program for their theaters. Right? If you for like $50, you can use your phone in theaters. But if you don't pay the $50 and they see you with your phone, they can fine you.
All right.
For some reason, like, all right, man.
Is this real? I don't see how that's real.
It seems real. Let me make sure.
The kind of people that are like playing on their phones the whole time, through the movie, they're the ones sneaking into the movies to begin with. Like, they're not the ones legitimately paying to get in to begin with.
I can tell you right now, you know what's going to be entertaining? Mm-hmm. All the fights that are going to break out and trend on TikTok and Twitter because somebody wants to text is going to get bad.
What? And who's going to pay $50 to this? It just doesn't add up to me. Like, I
gotta check it. It might be real, but I didn't have time to vet it.
There is a rumor going around, but it just doesn't seem credible to me. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So you're gonna pay $50 for a movie ticket so you can sit there and disrupt the other people around you?
You know who's gonna profit off of this? Bootleggers. You pay $50. You go in there,
sit out there and just record your phone.
Just record the whole
put it
film.
up on the tripod, like nobody's gonna stop you. Like, I
can't find it. So maybe it's not real.
Okay.
But
April Fools.
Yeah, they did drop their their seat-based pricing program. That did end, which we didn't report. I didn't even realize it ended because I wasn't going to AMC theaters like that.
So they were charging a premium based on where you were sitting.
Yeah. So if you were like in the middle, right, in the premium seats, you pay extra, and they ended that program.
Because everyone disliked it.
Yeah. So sorry, y'all, for the fake news. I led you astray.
Hey, one of our new gimmick on Cameos. One of our news stories is always going to be fake. You have to figure out which one it is. I mean, we're not doing.
Sorry, I had to pull it. Yeah, we're not doing that normally.
We're not going to do that, but I think that would be fun if we did that sometime. We'll do that on our April Fool's edition. All right. Let's transition over to our topic of the hour. We got a couple minutes left. We were blessed by possibly the first successful, dare I say, live action anime adaptation.
Yes.
In the name of One Piece, which I'm sure tickles Sam San's fancies to no end.
It does.
I'm sorry, are you implying that Dragon Ball Evolution wasn't an absolute success?
Yellow Piccolo, that shit's terrible.
There's a lot of discourse going on in the social spheres right now about how this movie was able, or how this show has been able to garner so much critical success. It's not perfect. Like, let's put it out there. This is not a 10 out of 10.
It's not.
This is not the
before
best
you even continue,
thing, but
let me just say that the type of critical success is like 84 countries. It was the number one viewed show, right? Like a lot of people watch it, right? And it costs more than Game of Thrones to make, right, per episode. And it seems like it was money well spent because it performed incredibly well. And
I did not know that last fact. Holy shit!
Yeah, it costs like 18 million an episode.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
no, that can't be right.
That is right. Someone confirmed it was like 18 million an episode.
Jesus.
Yeah,
18 million?
Yes.
Oh, Oda had to come in.
All right. I don't want to.
The report is exactly 17.27 million per episode.
Wow.
For each episode of the 8 episode series. And it was incredibly successful.
I need to figure out where the fuck this money is, because apparently it's not going to the actors or writers. So where the fuck is all that money going? Because
Oda.
To Oda. Please, God.
But yeah, it cost a lot to make, and it was incredibly successful. So
all right. So no. I mean, I think it's pretty wild because based on initial trailers for this, there was a lot of skepticism going in. I think a lot of people were like, shit, why does Luffy have shoes? This doesn't look good. But I watched the first 2.5 episodes. I might be on the third now. I don't hate it. It's not the worst.
Yeah, I can say I'm a One Piece fan.
Yeah, and you're a diehard fan.
Yeah, and I can say confidently, I'm not a stan. I'm not like crazy.
How many episodes have you seen?
I watched the whole thing.
You're a stan, bro. That's 1,000 episodes.
Oh, of One Piece? I skip episodes because it's like a lot of filler. But I can say, like, for the live action, if you're a fan of One Piece, like, you'll notice things that are off. But for like people just entering this world, like it's a pretty decent show. And which is hard to say when you talk about live action things. Usually they are all terrible. Or especially, live action anime adaptations are usually terrible.
Right.
Except for I don't know, Alice in Borderlands, pretty decent. I'm gonna watch Zom 100 at some point. It's probably hard to mess that up. But for the most part, they're all bad. So to see like this, right? Look at Death Note, terrible. Right, the Cowboy Bebop was terrible. If you've ever seen the Rurouni Kenshin live actions, they're terrible. Those all in the Japanese. The Full Metal Alchemist,
Japan has done a ton of them. Attack on Titan.
Yeah, they're just bad.
Death Note one. Yeah,
they're not good, right? But then, and I think that's for our discussion. It seems clear that when you like go into this and you stick to like the source material in a way where you can build a world and it makes sense, which is what One Piece did. It comes out well and people love it. And I think one of the critics, IGN was a critic, and they said that they gave it like a 6. Like, oh, it has too much it has too much it has too much source material in the show. What? That's the point. Like, if you made Harry Potter and decided like, oh, Voldemort doesn't need to be the main enemy, maybe Ron can hit Harry. Like, what?
Ron Weasley's the true villain. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that?
Yeah. So I it's hard for me to like separate. Like, I kind of want somebody to watch it that's never watched One Piece, because I would love to hear. So you never heard any of the, like, you never read any of the manga or watched any of the episodes?
No, none of it. I've been aware of the characters since they've been so prominent in anime culture. Right. So I've heard of Luffy, I've heard of Nami, things like that. But I didn't start watching the anime until like after the show, and I only seen like one episode. So all
right. So what was your take like on?
I really enjoyed it.
How many episodes have you seen of the live action?
I've seen all of it, the whole season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like,
and for those that don't know, it's 8 episodes. Each is like an hour long.
Yeah, like I thought the characterization was fantastic. Like, I immediately got wrapped up in the world. I thought they made some interesting directorial choices where they would like zoom in on everyone's face at all times.
Yeah, that is.
And yeah,
I have not noticed that, but yeah,
that was a common gripe with the show. Like, why are you zooming in on everyone's face? You don't need to.
Yes. And it was like fisheye lens too. Like, I didn't get that part. But yeah, like I immediately got wrapped up in the characters, the story, the world, and it made me actually go check out like one episode of the anime. And I'm gonna keep watching. I'll probably finish when I'm like 55 years old. But
yeah, good luck. That's optimistic. You didn't have. So here's my thing: is like it just feels, the world feels so over the top, and then to Sam's point, like. There is a lot of faithful source material stuff in there. So I would imagine, as somebody coming in like a virgin to the One Piece universe, it didn't hit you as like a little too off the wall. Like, they're talking on snails, and like Garp has a dog hat on for some reason. Why is Nami's hair bright orange? Shanks's hair is red. Like, that stuff didn't take you out a little bit?
Well, let me answer that question with one sentence. I like Bollywood films. So all of that off the wall, weird, like different, divergent, I love all that. So it's like, it didn't throw me off too much. But also, like, I like when film adaptations are like completely accurate to the source material. Like, for instance, Sandman. Like, Sandman came along. It was amazing. And it was because Neil Gaiman was in the captain's chair, and he was dictating all the stuff that should be important to the story and the adaptation. And it's like, if you look at the Sandman, it's very weird. Like, it's very esoteric. It's very like just high concept at points where it's like you're dealing with like the realm of dreams. And I feel like in anybody else's hands, they would have tried to ground it in reality. They would have tried to make it quote unquote cool for audiences. But sometimes with a lot of these films, a lot of these adaptations, the charm is when it's authentic to the book, because it's like clearly One Piece is fantastic in and of itself because it's spawned this massive fan base that has been a part of it for thousands of issues and thousands of episodes. So it's like, why would you take away everything that makes it special just so it can fit a certain aesthetic that you're used to with like gritty reality, or like make it a bit more palatable to like general audiences? It's like, no, just go above and beyond. So long as the characters are good, so long as the story and the world is good, all that weird stuff isn't going to matter.
And that is our main topic for today, right? And I think what, Sean, you were talking about being tired of the way the MCU is going, right? And all this is because they are moving further and further away from like the source material. You don't need to do that with things. And I'll be, you don't know yet, just rambling, but there are some changes in the One Piece live action. Like, they veer very heavily from like, for Garp's character, he's nothing like that in the anime or manga. So to me, they kind of ruin Garp's character. And then
I don't think Nami's character is at all. But
it's her whole entire story arc. They change. I don't want to say how they change it, but the way they change it, to me, it takes away from the gravity of her true situation. And once you get to her arc and you watch it the way that Oda created it, you'll be like, oh, this is it's crazy. But it doesn't hurt the overall story in the same way Garp doesn't hurt the overall story, right? And it doesn't take the person away. Like Garp is still who he is. He's still like the strongest Marine. Like he still does all this stuff. Nami's story still plays out the way it plays out, but you can still be involved, and it makes you want to watch more. They stick close enough to the source that you want to keep doing this. And in the same way, Sandman, they stuck close enough to the source, right? But they changed a couple of things, like the little boy and his little superhero persona, right? They changed that whole arc. They combine things. They changed one of the nightmares, right? Combine two nightmares into one because they had to do it, right? They removed characters, they added characters, but they did it all in a way that it made sense, and it doesn't take you away from the story. It just keeps you involved. And when properties do that, people are like invested because it's already good. You already have a set fan base. The set fan base will come back. Like I'll watch a season 2 of One Piece because it was good enough. And I'll come back. And now you are a new fan. You are going to watch it and watch more because this was very good.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think one of the tough things to try to do is bring these characters that were designed for, like, anime is like a culture, right? So like the way that the mannerisms and the way that they speak, like in Japanese, like I took 2 years of Japanese in college, and the first thing that the professor said was like, if you watch a lot of anime and that's why you're here, nobody talks like that in real life. Like that's just not the way. They have like there's this whole own like flow and like what's the word I'm looking for, like vibe that animes have that are not, obviously, if you've seen any anime ever, that's just not the way that real people act. And then I think that the like artistry is bringing that somehow successfully to the screen, which we just haven't seen done. So like when I said that Nami is not the same character, it's like because she can't be the same character. She's like some trope ditzy idiot in the show that is like she's a sex object for a big part of the show, to be honest.
That's later. But
even in the beginning,
Nami in East Blue is like, I think she was very true. I think she was a little more brave.
I'm really curious to get to Sanji and how they
no, they did him well. I think Nami's just a little more brave in East Blue in the live action than she is in the regular one. But she's going through a lot.
Person. She acts like a person. Like the things that she says and the ways that she act. Sometimes I'm like, I feel like they should have played that a little bit differently. But on the whole, I get why they made the creative decisions that they did, because like her character in the anime is like not a real character. And that was why I thought this show was going to fail, is because Luffy in the show is like nobody that you would want to watch like in real life. You know what I mean? Like that would be an insane person like running around for 30 to 45 minutes at a time. So
I think it did it well. I think they did all the
so
like
too, but they had to tone
well.
everybody down a little bit. Yeah. So there is some of that grounding in reality. It just has to happen. You know what I mean?
But they did it, but remained true. Well. Yeah, they did it and remained true to the core of like the story and all the stuff that's going on. And that's hard to do. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, and I would hope that the MCU decides to do the same, right? Have this bring the core of the story back. That's how we started, right? When we got Iron Man, and you got the core of like the Iron Man story in the films, the Incredible Hulk movie, not the first one, the second one with Edward Norton, right? You got the core of the story. Even Thor, that first Thor is not like the greatest of films, but you got the core that you needed, right? At some point, get back to that. Even Deadpool, like I hate giving credit to the Fox properties, but Deadpool really got the core of the Deadpool story and the comic character. They've really like leaned in.
Yeah.
Right. When these things are successful, you bring that core in.
You can tell when a cast or a crew or a director has a genuine love for the source material.
Yeah.
Because they're not actively trying to like like reshape, kind of like with a Secret Invasion, where it's like you can tell that they didn't think the source material was good enough, so they completely rewrote so much of it that it didn't even feel like Secret Invasion anymore.
And they gave us some bullshit. It was terrible.
Yeah, and it happens.
God awful.
That happens way too much with adaptations because it's like either the writers or the directors feel like the source material isn't good enough, or there's some sort of like call from like the top brass or the producers, somebody in the corporate who was like, oh, hey, this is a bit too far out of a concept. We need to find something that's a bit more acceptable for like general audiences. Like we know that the core fan base, like the readers and like the anime fans are going to understand and be appreciative of this, but like, you know, we need to sell it to like their parents. And it's like, who's going to understand like a snail phone or things like that? all the zany stuff we see from anime.
That's what I think. I think like all right. Well, first, before I say this, One Piece, they had to reshoot a lot of it, right? Oda saw a rough draft. He was like, oh no.
Oh no.
He came in like, no, that's not it. And then they redid it, right? They redid a lot of it, right? So I think like and this is like a warning to studios, don't just think because these are like established IPs and you have this established fan base that we're just cool with bullshit, right? We're not going to just sit there and like be excited because you gave us a live action version of something we've been waiting for, right? Or you turned a comic book into a movie. You can't just turn Secret Invasion into a movie and then think, oh yeah, the fans are going to love it. No, we hate this. We hate it. And it performed poorly because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. At some point, you're going to have to
failed miserably. Like they could have called that whatever they wanted to call it, and it still would have been terrible.
No, right, but I'm saying my point is they tried to take like an established IP, right? They tried to bait us, and you can't just give us anything. You can't try to make things palatable for like someone's parents or the new audience, right? Give us what's in the comics because that is like proven. The whole reason we're here is because we've read this thing first.
That needs to be the paradigm shift that happens. Yeah.
Like and for the MCU.
I hope this is the big like realization to other studios and executives. I mean, I don't love the fact that it costs more money per episode than Game of Thrones, because I think that is going to look very risky to a lot of these producers and filmmakers that are like, we could try, but maybe
they should not try.
One that could do that.
And if we're being honest, One Piece is the highest selling book of all time, like series of all time, right? Other than the Bible, right? And there might be something other thing.
There might be some versus other Luffy. Gear 5 Luffy versus Jesus.
There might be some other like series above that, but it's like top 5, right? And it does well in I don't know how many countries, right? So if they say we should spend $17.27 million on this. That's like a safe bet to me.
It's still a big risk because there's a long history of anime adaptations completely bombing.
Yes, so there are, but you still have who has a bigger fan base worldwide when it comes to anime, right? There's nothing bigger anime or manga wise than One Piece, and everyone lives in America and they love Naruto. So Naruto's bigger. No, it's not. One Piece is globally the biggest thing. God. Naruto and then maybe Dragon Ball Z.
Action. Where do the Naruto live action is definitely coming next. Naruto and Bleach live action. Get ready. 2025.
Yeah, they should. It'll do well, but if they do it the right way, stay true to the source, right? But if you call Kishimoto in, he's going to come in with some foolishness, and it probably will look terrible. Know.
We'll have to
Kishimoto be all over the place.
I just want to see. I hope that the lesson taken away is that, like, to your point, going back, they just need to be a little bit more like Halo when they came out and they were like, oh, none of our producers or writers played any of the games or read any of the books. And it was like, they said that as like a brag. And it was like,
and no one watched it. Yeah.
That is a huge red flag. And that the show was fucking terrible. But that's not the only example of that. Like that happens a lot where they're like, we don't want our people influenced. We requested the actor don't read any of the source material because we want them to bring their own character and da-da-da-da. I forget, there's another example of that recently. I don't want that. Like, I want people that respect the material to be building off the material and to adapt the material. And then I think it has a chance to be good. That doesn't guarantee it'll be good, but like at least it won't just be like some westernized, bastardized, version of fucking Cowboy Bebop again.
Yeah, they keep trying to dumb it down and make it palatable, but really it's like everything that you're trying to strip away from these things, all the zany appearances, all the personality quirks, all the weird, odd things about the universe, it's what makes it special.
Right.
So it's like you remove all that, and yeah, it might be, the layman can pick up on it, but it's like it loses all of its charm, all of its vibrance.
Right. Exactly.
It's just another pirate show.
Sorry, so
Pirates of the Caribbean 6 is when Pirates of the Caribbean 6 we could have gotten.
Let me just say shout out to Lucia in our chat because he brings up a good point. Let's say if they do like a Naruto live action, you can't do the sexy no jutsu. Right, that's an actual move
I think
that
they
Naruto does.
Absolutely would do that. 100%.
They would absolutely do it, right? But you should not do that. There's also some things in One Piece that you probably should not do, right? It's going to
anime as a whole.
Yes. Brooks and Sanji, I don't understand how they're going to translate.
They made Sanji less creepy, I will say. He's kind of like a little flirt. If this keeps going, he's going to be extra creepy. And then they're going to be like, all right, this might need to be canceled.
Yeah, but
cancel Sanji.
This got to be
every
canceled.
anime property I've seen has like those two tropes. There's always like one really creepy, overly sexual person, and then there's like an overly sexualized woman at some point. So it's like, these are the things you need to dumb down. Because like, imagine if they made like a My Hero Academia adaptation. Could you imagine Mineta? The first episode, canceled.
Throwing balls at naked women.
Yeah,
and
there's a naked girl running
attacking
around.
them with his little brick balls. But there's
a whole woman in One Piece whose whole power is like she's sexy, so people freeze when they see.
Yeah, she's like one of the fucking pirate lords. Yeah.
Yes, she's a pirate lord. And then Oda had to explain that's not how her power works. It's not because she's sexy. It's just if you elicit any type of emotion, she makes you mad, happy. That? Yes, he wrote about it in the SBS because I don't want to spoil too much of the story, but he wrote about it. It's not just her sex appeal. It's like if you get mad at her, if you cry, like any feeling will cause you to freeze. You turn to stone from any feeling.
It just so happens that everyone's reaction when they first see her is arousal.
Yes, basically, it's arousal.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that is something that we could discuss if and when One Piece season 2 gets announced. But the way that Netflix has been treating these sequel series, I wouldn't hold my breath.
I think it'll come. I feel like for Arcane, they didn't realize it was going to be so popular, and that's why it took so long for them to make the second one.
You think we'll get a One Piece sequel sooner?
Yeah, because they built all the sets as well. They built them all in South Africa, right? That's also why they filmed in certain places so many times. They changed the story and did a bunch of stuff on the Baratier.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
So since they built the set, they'll probably, all right, let's redo this, make a new set. They already teased a season 2, where I don't want to spoil the end, but they do tease a season 2. So we'll probably get another one.
Arlong was the big bad of first season, right?
Yeah, they end with beating Arlong.
So Crocodile season 2.
We'll see, actually. I don't think they'll get...
It's gotta be.
In 8 episodes, I don't think they make it far enough, because they didn't leave the East Blue in season 1. So if you don't leave the East Blue in season 1, you got to do a bunch of stuff in the East Blue first, and then you go Grand Line.
Crocodile's where shit starts to get really dope. And then it's also the last time that the anime is actually like any good. That's
CP9. Get through Water 7.
Yeah.
I don't want to see when Luffy turns into Bugs Bunny and just starts whooping everybody.
No spoilers. Don't spoil Bugs Bunny.
All right, One Piece season 58. We'll be here when we're 111 years old. All right, y'all.
Our kids will be podcasting.
Yeah,
it's like
that's
season 209.
Jesus.
It's like
It'll be out there. All right, y'all. Thank you guys very much for tuning in tonight. It has been real. Should be here same time next week, I think. Hopefully with the full squad. It's been real.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Before we go, Ahsoka's on Disney Plus now.
Oh yeah, we didn't even mention that.
Yeah, I didn't mention it. It's on episode 3 right now. So we'll talk about it when it ends.
We'll talk about it whenever.
Yeah, go watch Ahsoka and the second part of Jujutsu Kaisen The second 18 episode run is also out now, and as well as Bleach. Part 2 of the season is out on Hulu. You watch those. That's it. Those are my plugs.
Peace.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.